That's it. It's one more.
Going like that?
Yeah, that's a review.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good.
I don't guess Jeff's coming. Nobody heard from him, but I guess he shot my phone probably.
Do you want me to go ahead, or?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. The City Council of the City of Metropolis last week approved an ordinance and amendment to our intergovernmental agreement, basically extending it through the end of the year. It was to expire at the end of September, and they approved an extension to the end of the year for the $150,000 that they're going to be providing toward the renovation project. So that will give us until December 31st to advertise and seek bids for performance of the restoration projects, at least part of it, to obtain bids and to award contracts. And we're also obligated to keep the city informed with respect to the progress of awarding contracts for the performance of the project, which we have been doing and will continue to do. So I would request the board to approve this amended intergovernmental agreement.
What, do you think it will take that long before we get it started?
I hope not, but I don't know if Jason wants to speak to that more.
I mean, I know, we're in contact with them. They were here, 3 or 4 weeks ago, some engineers and reviewing everything. I sent out an email, I guess it was last week, and hopefully, we'll get going soon on the bid. That's they're just trying to do their due diligence of getting some of their back work done on the building to make sure that they do the proposal correctly. So every time I've talked to them, and I think I really stressed how important it was for us to get the roof on and things like that for this, this fall before winter.
Who are you talking to?
Well, I've talked to Eric, and I've also talked to Kevin, both gentlemen. And I also stress, the city is gratefully helping us, and they want to get this completed off their books by year end too. So, it's a push to try to get that all completed.
The hospital, Jason. Now, are they connected to the roof also, or just general?
Just general, and that is something that I think this month of October, their board meeting, or November, we'll try to get everything settled with them.
Okay.
Get anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. That's about it?
We need a motion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay. I'll second that.
I need if you would, after you test it, just keep a copy and then send it over to City Hall.
Okay.
Fine.
No, that's no problem.
Just one signature.
Yeah, that's all we have.
Okay.
And then after they've signed it, we can get a copy of it. Well, that's all I had. Is there any?
Can't think of anything. You, Jason?
No.
Yeah, I wish we could get, today wouldn't be too early. Get started on this project.
Right.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I know the city is, they've stuck their neck out. And then we can move on to the inside maybe, this winter.
Right.
Do some work.
you all need anything, please let me know.
Okay. Thanks.
Get towards the end of the year.
How's things going for your car, or is everything?
Picked up the one yesterday in Missouri, replaced from the insurance, get it back on the road today.
Do you try to keep a newer car out there on the high, lower mileage, or does it matter?
Yeah, the one we got out there now, it's probably got about 100,000 miles on it. But it's the only unmarked car we've got, so that helps.
Are you planning on trying to do a little bit more about unmarking cars or not?
No.
You all full over there, Sheriff's?
How much does it say on the front here? 47? Yeah.
Yeah, 47. That's overflow a little bit.
Yeah, 5. I think John said everybody in there except for one is Massac County.
Everyone except one? Holy, that's not good.
It shows you how much crime's picked up in the county.
Mm. I see y'all apparently picked up some stolen stuff. I seen it on y'all's website.
Starting to pick up maybe arrest more people this week on these burglaries. I mean, that's where it's going to start.
How's your new officer training going?
Good.
Good.
So I think right now Summer is first in her class. This is week 6, I think, so.
So she stays, training comes on the weekend?
Yeah.
Where's it at again?
Belleville.
See, how many weeks is it?
14.
We about half a minute.
Yeah, I think it's the first week of December is when she gets out.
So after that, does she patrol with somebody still, or does she?
Probably for about a month, probably till the end of January, or end of December, and hopefully the first week of January she gets out on her own.
Well, she won't go on midnight, so she,
Probably afternoons.
you say, I guess, Robert likes that midnight, she said.
Yeah, he's not going to come off midnight. So.
No. I always did like them too, but they were hard on me, but had some advantages.
He likes them.
Any issues with equipment or anything over there? Is
No,
that-
right now. Like I said, Reed was over there last week working on the electrical problems, and got that fixed.
What's wrong with it?
We went in and they shorted out a circuit, blew
Oh,
some
you talked about
fuses,
that.
and just overtime on her part tracking it down, but Patrick said he's gonna try to file some charges on the guy, maybe get some restitution out of it, and that was a $700 bill.
And cheaper, you'd furnish them a light or something.
Yeah, they like that. That's all we got.
All right.
That's
Okay,
it.
David, thanks a lot.
How's everybody?
We're good. Okay, I see your old buddy's back,
There you going. What
Yeah,
is
that's
taking,
right.
Michelle?
That's,
whatever his name is.
I seen that too.
John's here, he's got a bill for, it's gonna be half yours and half mine. Okay. He's filling it out right now.
They said that one of the commissioners had to sign her dental permission thing. You mean to have her come over then?
That would be Gerald.
She came, yeah.
I thought he wanted to give them a little insight about what he, because he came out after that happened and got the check.
Hey, Joe. How you, Kim?
You want to sign this for me?
Other than that, I mean, people are just flowing in.
Patrick said just do it.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. He said you could call him if you needed
Where's that sign?
to. Just down here. And just put 0 and date it.
There you go, Joan, that's ready for you.
Third.
Mm-hmm.
Should have to go back.
No, not
The
yet.
opening on that bridge here in about 45 minutes, so I'll probably bring that to y'all next week.
So who was that?
I don't know if that needs to be an agenda item on it, but
Okay.
if you wanted to mark it down, just to hold on awarding the bridge project. You know, if the bid is awardable, I mean, we'll do it.
Where is it?
The one out on Mermet Road.
Oh, yeah, Steve Porter. Front of
Yeah.
his house.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of questions. Well, one thing, see, I don't know where Joe Burnett lives. There's two houses, did you go up those houses?
I didn't drive back.
There's two houses up there, but I had left no indication which one he lived in. You know, he cuts grass, I thought, well, I'll see a couple of mowers or something, sitting around, but there weren't. I did see a tree that was dying, it had some, just some small sprigs on it that were alive.
Further up than that, like where that opening is there, where they cleared out like a little lot, and there's like a little U drive or something.
That may have been, yeah.
I know.
It was on the west end or northwest end of that, but, I mean, it wasn't dead.
No, not yet, but I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a little bit bigger of a tree, but I didn't think it was an imminent danger of it falling down or anything. I mean, that'll be up there for a while.
Was it on right away?
You know, I don't think so. It was close. I don't think it was right on the right way, but, you know, if it's right there within 10 feet and it's gonna fall on the road, we'll still cut it down if it's in danger of blocking the road.
Joe, do you know what Melody Lane is?
Melody, yes. Is that the, well, yeah, that's our road, isn't it?
I think it's county road.
I don't know why it is, but it's
Just
just
dead ends
driveway.
up about a quarter mile or so. But, on the right there, somebody complained, I think that guy's in the used tire business, junk tires, you know, well, I guess you pay him and he gets, like me, maybe would have 20 or 30 wore out tires. And he's putting them down there on that road. It's on his property. And how many tires, can he have 1,000 tires? Do you know?
I'm not sure of that. I don't think you're supposed to stockpile any tires anywhere. I know that somebody in Brookport got in trouble for that by the EPA. And that wasn't anywhere near 1,000 tires. I mean, it was just a matter of 50 or so, I think, that they had lined up there, and somebody called the EPA on them, and they got in trouble over that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Think- Well,
I can't say for sure. I don't know for sure, but that's just what I heard.
the neighbors were concerned about it.
So he's just piling them up down there, and
I guess at some point in time they'll haul them, you know, to a recycler or something, or grinder, you know, or something, but yeah, they're just, piled up there. I guess I hadn't been up there. It's on the right.
what, as you go way down in there, or out by
About
North
halfway,
Avenue?
about halfway down there.
And you say it's on his property and not on the road?
No, it's on his dad's property.
On that property.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the only thing I can do is check on what the rules are
Yeah.
for you, but
I don't know where to even look.
the only alternative you would have, though, would probably not be a pleasant one.
Yeah. Well, you know, if he's in violation, if he just move them or something to an appropriate side, or, I don't know if there is one, like you're talking, you know, like you're saying.
see, not too long ago, the EPA had a little program of going around to some of the, you know, like the cities and the counties and stuff about picking up tires.
We took them out to the county shed before.
But they actually kind of got on to me about that because the program wasn't for to pick up our tires. The program was to pick up tires that people have abandoned on roads and stuff like that, that we
Oh.
have to pick up. They kind of stuck us with it, you know, because a lot, you know, obviously when we have dump trucks and all these things, we go through a lot of tires.
And just throw them in the pot.
We don't have a whole lot of place to get rid of them. Just stack them up and, you know, hope for a program like this sometime.
Yeah.
You know, because we don't, I mean, if it's a truck tire like my truck or like Matt's truck or somebody's driving truck, you know, we'll take it to a place to get tires because we don't have a balancing machine and we'll just have them recycle the tires.
Yeah.
Pay the fee. But when you're talking like grader tires and tractor tires and
Yeah, big
dump
tires.
truck tires, I mean, we do that ourselves and we don't take it to a place and we, you know, so we don't
End
have
up with them.
access, yeah, we don't have access to actually, you know, pay them the small fee to take them. You know.
Well, I guess there's somebody evidently come by and get some extra, like Lewis up there, or somebody.
You know, I'd have to research that to see if there is somebody that you can take them to or pay to take them or whatever, but, you know, I'd say there is somebody that does that. You know, I've heard that one of the asphalt plants are starting to take some because they actually can grind them up and put them in asphalt pavement in a certain ratio. I mean,
You
you
just
can't.
pay them to take them?
I don't know. And I don't know if, don't quote me on that because I don't know if that's true.
Well,
I
you
just
know,
heard
Florida
that.
used to take tires
Who did?
for Florida. You know, they burn them, and I went to Chicago and got trailers of tires and brought them back. But I don't think you can take them down there. You've got to put them in that trailer. Find somebody that's got one of they own the trailers, they had like 20. They were just scattered out all everywhere. And they would load them, and then you'd take them and empty and bring the loaded one back. And then they quit, but I understand they started back up now, burning them tires.
They must have good
Yeah.
emissions control. So they
Yeah,
can-
kind of scrubber, you know.
Mhm.
But I think I think that tire just disintegrates as soon as it hits that heat.
I don't know about the metal in them, though. I mean, maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Maybe, I guess it just melts, I don't know. I've took tires to different places and, you know, I'm not that government program. It's a problem. You know, people just want to put them out back, and mosquitoes and snakes, everything. That water will get in the tire and they'll stay for 2 years. You know.
Yeah, we have to come out of there.
No.
Doing good?
Yeah, it's all right. I will not be here next Tuesday. Leah will come up here with the claims
Okay.
next Tuesday.
How many bids did you give out on that bridge? Well, is that legal? If there's just one bid, I guess that's all it wants to bid, but.
If it meets our estimates. If it's a certain percentage over the estimate, then we have to raise it.
Well, why there's not more people involved in that?
There's a few people out there that do it, but I guess they don't want to come this far south.
Oh,
Good business to get into.
yeah. You know, I got into that one time, that wanting to get into that, and they sent me a letter that said I was qualified to bid on I forget what was it? Like $5,000 bridge. I called him, I said, well, man, there ain't none.
And he buy pipe.
So they raised it all, I think to about 50,000 or something. I just give up. I mean, you can't do it. I maybe cross those ditch or something. But I did bet on a couple.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I mean, next, if the bids go okay today, I'll probably have that on, Leah bring something as far as the price and who it is, so that, I already have one to put it on the agenda, but if it's all in line with our estimate and everything's okay and we want to proceed with the project, I'll just have you guys vote on it next week, even though I'm not going to be here. That way we can get the contract going and everything. If so happens that the bid is not in line with the estimate and everything, I'll just holler at one of you to take off. I don't imagine there'll be a problem with it, just in case.
No, they're pretty well online, most of them, I think.
Yeah, we've never had not since I've been here, we haven't had a bid go over the estimate enough to kick it out.
Who was that guy that retired?
Eisenhower?
Yeah.
I don't know that he retired, he just went out of business. I think he's working at Sierra Bravo now, that's what somebody told me.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Engineer or something?
No,
He's up. He's 65.
he's an older guy, yeah. I guess he's just a project manager for me, I guess, I don't know.
When did he quit?
I think the guy's in a little trouble.
Oh.
I didn't. That's rumor too, I didn't know.
Well, that railroad bridge that I helped him on, it took him about a year to have a payment on that. He may be
The one there on, Steelback? That
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Yep.
but he did pay. Good guy to work with.
Yeah,
Did you know him?
Yeah, he's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Right to the ground.
I like the D construction.
D.
I like him too. Yeah.
But you know, that's strange. No, Eisenhower, he didn't hardly have any equipment at all. He hired that guy from Marion,
Yeah, he hired that wife, I can't think.
G.A. White.
Yeah, G.A. White.
And that boy, of course, he's dead, but that boy was actually my favorite.
Yeah.
And then you had a guy with him. Well, you know, they had new staff, and I'm sure they charged accordingly. And I think it was just costing too much money, probably. Now, he had flat beds with forms and stuff on, you know, and I guess a semi to follow with. I think that's about all we had.
Okay.
Yeah, so appreciate it, man.
All right, if you need anything.
Okay.
This flood FEMA buyout thing. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. The only thing is I can't get this Sean Freeman to uphold his his agreement. He dated it. So
Is he the one that no one can get in contact with?
well, I've gotten in contact with him.
I think Josh Sharpmeyer's tried to call
Okay.
me about trying to get in contact with him also.
Okay, well, like I said, I was told you earlier, I have made, State's Attorney's Office aware, I'm making you guys aware. This is very critical, we have this project done by June of 2018.
Do we feel like he's not going to do it?
I don't know, I'm just kind of in a mode, there's still some other paperwork we gotta fill out. to
Well, we
make
had
sure we-
conversations with him, what's he saying?
Well, like I said, hell, it's been a month ago since I talked to him, over a month, I don't recall he just said, yeah, we'll get to it, type thing.
And so, did we give him a deadline a few months prior to that deadline, so we make sure we're not in a situation where it's a tough deadline?
No, there was no deadlines. This is all new to me,
Okay.
guys. I mean, in my opinion, this stuff is way beyond my scope of what I should be doing in my office. I kind of walked into this flood thing, and I just want to get it done and
Right.
over. But I don't want to jeopardize the county losing paying a bunch of money back
Yeah.
because we didn't fulfill the obligation of the grant.
You think should we ask the state attorney's office, maybe send this guy a letter?
If we can't get him to do it within 30 days, then, but I don't want to, here we are, rebidding the process. It takes another 60 days.
Mm.
Next thing you know, you're in January.
Yeah,
Yeah, and this guy was a whole lot cheaper than that,
Yeah.
yeah.
About half. But if he ain't gonna do it, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything, and we
Right.
have to pay more money. But
Yeah.
we gotta have this thing done, cleaned up, and the grant fulfilled, so we can get the paperwork finished up and the state stamp.
I just wonder if we should send him a letter and maybe 2 or 3 months prior to our hard deadline, have a deadline for him, that way we know.
Well, and I'll work with the state's attorney's office
Okay.
on it.
Okay.
But I just wanted to make you guys aware. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted to do.
Well, I've talked to Josh a few times over the last couple of months about it, and I know he's called me, wanting to know if I talked to him, and I said, no, I haven't, and I think he's reached out to him. Josh has.
Okay.
So, and apparently you've talked to him too.
I've talked to their office. I mean, I've talked to them 2 or 3 times through, and again,
Are they just that booked up, that busy? Don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's a pretty busy person, but
Yeah.
we all are.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just wanted to make you aware of it. Second thing, I'm gonna have the Board of Review come in and do certificate of errors, and look at some other potential issues with some appeals. Otherwise, the board wouldn't come in until about December, but I'm gonna need him to come in now, and we're gonna have to get some things addressed. They gave me the okay to go ahead and look at certificate of errors, because we had some issues, but, again, I'm just making you aware of it, okay? Next thing I need to find out is, I've got all this old equipment in my office, old computer systems, monitors, I've got a printer, I've got some backup batteries. I need to get this stuff out of my office. I'm taking up wasted, I got a lot of stuff.
You
The
think
hard
maybe-
drives have all been wiped clean.
You think maybe the next sheriff's auction sale that we put that in?
Sure.
I don't know what the procedure is, I've never had that, dealt with that procedure, but somebody needs to
We
let me
take
know
it
what
out
that
to
is.
Most times they got the county shed. They have options.
Yeah. We'll find
You
out what the
need to-
procedure.
Somebody just needs to let me know what the procedure is, and I'll have Marcia or somebody take this stuff out of there. We'll inventory it, what we take out.
Sometimes, I mean, he doesn't have it every year.
Right. But I didn't know if any of the other offices needed computer screens.
You'll need it.
I mean, if and the hard drives on these computers are clear.
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, let me recommend if they go upstairs that you mark that they are working and good, because we went upstairs and got a printer thinking we were gonna save money
no, I
for
wouldn't say
John.
that about a printer.
Anyway, John hooked it up and then there was issues with it. I probably could have bought a new printer, new printer for the price of what we paid to have it worked on to get it
About
running.
time
so.
break in, Gary.
Let's hope not, Gary.
No, I'm good. I just don't see it.
Maybe it's your
Nope,
truck.
not my car.
No,
Maybe it's your truck.
it's not here.
Oh.
Well, one take break.
He walked it.
Yeah. Can you take me to get it this afternoon?
So if you guys, if either one of you want to look at anything I've got down there, let me know.
Okay.
And I'll be happy just to,
Gary, how many do you have?
5.
Five.
There's 2.
I don't know if there's room up there.
No, no, Joe. Yeah, I don't think that place up there could take another pound.
Where?
3rd floor.
Yeah, the jail.
The jail.
No.
But I've got boxes, I can, like I said, we can, but anyway, might as well get some use, or at least get some money for them or something.
Sure.
We're gonna work a little something.
We can get $2.50. That's what we got last time.
Probably not gonna get much. They're about, I think they're between 8 and 10 years old. So,
Probably XPs.
Yeah, probably,
Yeah.
they're like, I mean, there's some scrap value there,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it's a buck or two, like
Yeah.
you say. So, all right, the next thing I need to talk to you is personnel, and I need to go into closed session.
All right. Make your motion to go to closed session, discuss personnel.
Discuss,
Oh, I'm sorry. I just apologize.
I need to discuss a situation I've been asked to possibly become the supervisor of assessments in Hardin County, as well as Massac County. To do that, the Department of Revenue does allow for that, but it takes both counties to agree and for the Department of Revenue to approve that. So I provided information, how that works, and of course the state's attorneys will have to write a contract employment contract to get it on the same page to, and then again, that's got to be submitted to the Department of Revenue. So I'm not sure if that takes 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. But I've not been offered the job officially yet, but I have spoken with them, and they seem to understand that my terms, if I would do that, they would understand I could not be there every day or any particular day. We would have to just deal with the situation. But because they're just now getting through the 2016 tax cycle, they've been without a supervisor of assessments for a year, and it's very, they're very behind in the processes, and they need lots of help to get some systems in place, and it's something I think I can do for them and help them out.
And I guess on our behalf, we're giving the information to Patrick to review and let him look over everything you provided for us. So,
That's all I have, unless anybody has any other questions.
I'll have to copy that. Y'all
You
probably
want,
wait
you
for
want
that.
this?
I'm sorry. I can slow down.
But like I said, I can't stress enough, it's gotta be right for everybody involved, and if it's not, I'm not interested.
All right.
I've got a good thing going here, and I'm not looking to,
Mess that up.
I'm not gonna do anything to mess that. We've got the, like I said, we had a little glitch here with the tax bills, but I think we're working through it, and I think the worst is over now, and I think this is gonna be better. We had about 10 people, Jason, that, you know how you always wondered how people found out about exemptions they're entitled to? These new tax bills have explanations on them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was very thankful that people come down
Yeah.
and talk to us about that.
Yeah.
They didn't realize, so
Yeah.
I know the tax bills are a lot different, and sometimes people struggle to understand them, but I think they're a lot better, and they're a lot more transparent
Yeah,
on some things.
the format we're using now is explains things a lot better.
I think
The
so.
only complaint I got was this one person saw the IMRF Social Security on there.
Yeah, no, I've had several people comment on that, but that's something
I
that
told them it's just an appointment. It's always been there.
always been there, just never I don't think it was, the dollar amount was ever there. It
Right.
was always percentages, and
Yeah.
percentages sometimes don't tell the story, so. Well, thank you for your time, and
All right.
I'll let you know if and when I hear anything from Hardin County.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. There she is.
Are you waiting on me?
No, I'm just saying, there she is, like we're excited to have you. Been doing all right?
Yeah, doing good. How you
You're
all?
up.
I'm up?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Give me a minute, please.
Well, on one hand, he's trying to
I'll
catch
slow
up.
down. I won't say anything until
I'm
the
just
meeting gets ready.
trying to catch up here.
Won't you pause that for a minute, Michelle?
We help municipalities with water and sewer grants. And Fort Massac Water District came to us last year because they were wanting to try to extend water line service to the Southland subdivision up off of North Avenue. Well, last year we couldn't help them because they had already had a grant application in place in Johnson County where they're extending water lines up there. Now, they received it last year, so this year they're freed up. So, as you know, with the DCEO grants, only municipalities can apply. So I'm here to ask Massac County if they would apply on behalf of Fort Massac Water District so they could run water lines to Southland subdivision. Now, the reasoning that they're wanting to do this is because EPA is pretty much forcing their hand. The Southland subdivision has an inadequate system right now. It wasn't even permitted way back when it was built to even be put in by EPA. So the wells are substandard, the lines could be, they don't know, but EPA is forcing that subdivision to find the closest water source to tap onto, to run their lines and get everything done. So everything can be regulated in that subdivision. So Fort Massac was gonna go through EPA to try to get a water loan grant combination. Well, it's not going as quickly as they wanted to. So the next cycle through DCEO has rolled around now. We can apply in December. And it looks like it may be better for them because they would not have to take out a loan as large. Because if they go through DCEO, all of their construction will be paid for through grant, if they get the grant. And also, the big kicker here is all of the low to moderate income homes that can prove that they're 51% low to moderate income or more, to me, will get their tap on for free instead of paying the $1,400 that Fort Massac is requiring. So that would be a big plus for those residents out there. Right now, we went to Fort Massac, and Fort Massac likes this idea. If we can go ahead and apply for them for this round, they're especially liking the possibility of having the tap-ons paid for by the grant for those low to moderate income homes. Because they're getting a lot of flack from people out there. They're saying, well, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this? We have water. And they had a big public meeting about a week or two ago, and the EPA guy from Marion came down and was trying to explain to the residents that were there about the situation, about the need for them to tap onto a water source, just because there's nothing wrong with their water. It's not tested bad lately, but EPA says that's just a matter of time because the wells that they're drawing their water from are not permitted or not up to code. They're not, they're kind of substandard. And so that's what we're asking. I'm coming to you guys as the county asking if you don't mind for us to run this grant, and you guys would be like the pass-through for Fort Massac. All you guys would be doing would be just having the signature authority. You would not be committing any funds because that's Fort Massac. Fort Massac would be committing their funds for the extra money that would be required. Like I said, DCEO will pay for construction costs only. They don't pay for any engineering or any legal or anything like that. So Fort Massac would come in on the backside and supply that as their leverage funds for that. So the county would not be out any money at all. They would just be like the grantee, so to speak. And I would do all the paperwork like I always do with all the grants, and I would just come to you guys for signatures. Jason, are you the chairman? Who's the chairman?
Gerald is.
Gerald's the chairman. So I would be coming to Gerald just to sign papers and stuff, and that would be it. That was all that the county would need to do. So.
Christie, you say it's $1,400 per resident?
Yes, it's $1,400 per residence to tap on to Fort Massac.
Is that to cover some of the cost of installation?
That's their standard tap-on fee for anybody, unless they are going a long distance to get you, then it could be higher. But their standard fee is about $1,400. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's got a lot of residents out there in an uproar, because a lot of them probably are low income, and they can't afford that.
No, they can't pay.
So that's what we're hoping. Right now, we're in the process of surveying the residents out there to see what their income level is. If it's below a certain amount, we're not asking them what their specific income is. We just want to know if they're below the threshold. And if they qualify, then the grant requires you have to be 51% or greater low to moderate income for a targeted area, which that is. And I think we'll catch that out there. I really do, because there's a lot of lower income residents out there. So right now, we're in the process of surveying all of the residents out there, surveying them. And again, this grant will go in December. We probably won't find out anything until maybe the spring of next year, because they're pretty slow at announcing grants through DCEO. DCEO is the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. That's who they are. They have a water and the sewer program to serve municipalities that, need the water and sewer help, and especially they have to target the lower income people.
Do you feel like this has a pretty good success rate to get done?
I discussed the project with my grant monitor up at DCEO, and she said it definitely meets the health criteria, the health and safety threshold that you have to have. Because they're an imminent threat of losing their water source. Because EPA's come in and said, we're going to have to shut these wells off. Now, they're not going to come and shut the wells off, and leave the residents without water before there's another one in place for them. But DCEO sees that as that's the highest priority in the health and safety threat. So, from what I've discussed with them, they seem like this is a pretty good project that could get funded. Our other, our other one to address would be the surveys, if everybody could get out there and I've given the surveys to Fort Massac. They've delivered it to every household. I need as much, I have to have at least 75% response rate back from them. So hopefully they're in the process of getting that done, and those two things coupled together, it's a very fundable project. The grants through DCEO are getting harder and harder to apply for. They're getting very strict on their funds. There's more and more hoops that we have to jump through in order to apply for a grant. But they just want everything in place before they fund something, so. And pretty much we would have that.
What, if you run behind, why couldn't they just check those wells and keep on going until they get ready to put that in?
That's what I think that's what EPA is planning to do.
Okay.
Their initial plan was to shut the wells off this month on the 15th.
Mhm.
But since they knew Fort Massac was applying to them for these water funds, for the loan grant combination, they kind of knew that they weren't on the list yet to get funded, so they're gonna have to extend that date out some more. And it's a legal process. It's nothing that, anybody else, it's just legal.
Oh, yeah.
So that date will be extended out. I'm hoping maybe another 6 months to a year. Again, EPA, and they told the residents that were there that day, we're not going to leave you without a water source. We're not going to shut these wells off and leave you with no water. We can't do that. So they're just kind of waiting and biding their time to see how and when Fort Massac can get their lines run out there. Yeah.
If they could do that, then it's like if they get everything finalized, summertime would be the best time to put
Yes,
that in.
that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping is next summer all of this start to go. And because one of the things that DCEO has to have in order to apply for a grant is they've got to have their EPA permit back and their design completed. And they're about to that point. So that will be, and they'll just be ready to bid out for construction once it comes time, and hopefully they would get the funding. So yeah, that's our hopes anyway.
I don't have a problem with you.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Okay.
That's what it takes.
I'll second that.
Okay. I'll be coming back probably within the next couple of months, at least before December, to get you to sign. And it's nothing that would require board action. Well, I digress. Hang on. We will have to have a resolution signed by you guys that says that we're going to do this on behalf of Fort Massac. This is where the funds are going to come from. That's what I'll do. And that'll either be 1st of December, end of November, something like that, and I'll get that ready for you guys to do. That's the only thing that will really require board action, I think. The rest of the stuff is just grant application documents that you would need to sign.
Sounds good.
All right?
Thank you for your time.
Awesome, wonderful. We'll be in touch then.
Okay, Crystal, thanks for coming in.
Thanks.